Okay, as I was saying, this is a big step up. This next one I think was 7th grade. I'm not positive. Yeah, it was. This was a big step up from Dictionary Girl stuff. It's still very juvenile compared to what I write now, but it was a big step up in terms of trying to be more complex and trying to do more stuff with it. It's a very blatant Beatles reference, the entire story, and I only had a very limited Beatles discography at that point, mostly Sgt. Pepper, Magical Mystery Tour, and I had a very limited Beatles discography. Like, yes, I'm writing something now that's like, using names and stuff. It's inspired by Oasis, but it's inspired by Oasis and Blur, because there's a character. But, it's not just, like, this girl, like, I got the idea. I was listening to the song Morning Glory, which is about cocaine, but the story is not about cocaine. The story is about this girl who has amnesia, and, her nickname is Morning Glory. And so, anyway, it's a whole different, completely different, I took the song and changed the meaning. This is just, like, blatant Beatles references. But it's not terrible. This is a big step up from Dictionary Girl and those ones. So, I was going to read about the author and the synopsis on the back, so I'll show the cover is, like, the White Album. I just did that. It's my name. So, I'll read about the author. I was doing this before and I accidentally gave away my location, so we don't talk about that. Sarah Priest is the author of The Adventures of Mac, which is a survival story about Pac-Man. Now, basically, I have my fan characters. I talked about the Pac-Man fan characters in another video. The one about she stole my creativity, or whatever that video was. She lives in blah, 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 Pennsylvania with her parents, and she wrote this book inspired by the Beatles. It was not inspired by the Beatles. It was a blatant thing. So, here, the synopsis is, Penny Lane is a 12-year-old girl who has the kind of name which sounds like a Beatles song. She is invited to a Pac-Man tournament before she finds out that she's moving to California. Penny doesn't know what to do, but can this move turn out to be a good thing? Follow Penny and her unexpected friends through a good book by Sarah Priest. Blatant self-advertising. Girl. So, again, this is not great, but it's definitely a big step up from, and yes, by the way, I will continue to share my Soviet-era thing, because that's probably the best long thing I've written, and that's a big step up from the last one in this, trust me, there's still a ton of things. I write, I'm writing something right now. Again, it's inspired by, and my stuff just got darker and darker as I got older, I will say that. So, the name of the story is Underneath the Blue Suburban Skies, which isn't even the line, it's a misquote. It was there beneath the blue suburban skies, so it was a misquote to begin with. Alright, so I will read the following copyright page is a fake. I used to do this. I used to put copyright pages on my thing. All songs, albums, and artists referred to in this novel are real. All characters are fictional, and any resemblance to actual people living or dead is not intended by the author. Copyright 2014 by Sarah Priest. Summary. When 12-year-old Penny Lane is accepted into a Pac-Man tournament, she makes the first real friend she ever had. Then she has to move and learn to appreciate herself and her name. Girls. Fiction. The Beatles. Fiction. Pac-Man. Fiction. Moving. Fiction. It should have been moving household, because they say that. Alright. 4. The Beatles, who came up with this great song titles to get rid of my writer's block. I did have bad writer's block, and this helped me, so, I mean, again, I wouldn't be where I'm at without these. And I will also show you the illustrations, because I actually do have the illustrations to this one. Okay. My mother, who taught me to read and write, and my cousin, who gave me my first iPod. Okay. So, this little disclaimer, it says, you cannot read this book without knowing the Beatles. Even the cover of this book is based on the Beatles' White Album. Enjoy. I did not listen to the White Album at that point. That's a whole other story. I can talk about I think I do need to do a video on my Beatles discovery, like, how I discovered the Beatles. And, keep in mind, this was the era where I was handwriting everything, and then I would take it to the computer and type it, because I didn't have time. My mom, we only have one computer. Complex. Anyway, my name. Do you ever think about your name? Most people don't. They just have their name, and that's their name, and that's that. My name is Penny Lane, and that does not mean that my parents are Beatles fans. That's how I always introduce myself. Actually, my name is Penny Lane, because my dad found a penny on the hospital floor the day I was born. Okay, before I get into this, I was into a lot of Christian music at the time, which I don't listen to anymore. Mom wanted to name me Rachel, after Christian singer Rachel Lampa, but Dad won, which was unfortunate for me. All my sisters are named after singers. My sisters Amy, 14, and Francesca, 4, are named after Christian singers. Amy Grant and Francesca Battistelli. My 6-year-old sister Sarah is named after pop singer Sarah Bareilles. That was the only, like, non-Christian singer I actually liked at the time. But I am stuck being named after a Beatles song. No, a coin on the floor. Should have been a comma there. Dad says I'm lucky that he didn't find a nickel on the floor. And, oh my god, subtle Nickelback shade before I even knew who Nickelback were. No, I don't think that was supposed to be Nickelback shade, but it sounds like it is. And I'm also lucky that I don't have a brother named Jude. I don't have any brothers at all. I am surrounded by sisters, so I shouldn't feel alone, but they are named for singers, and I'm named for a song. Oh, right, a coin on the floor. I wish my dad had found $1 on the floor. Not that I want to be named Dollar Lane, but still. My parents don't make much money. Going back to the theme of not having money, all the stuff I write, even from early on, yeah, because I was, like, relatable, man. Dad says he wants to be a paperback writer, but again, he is referring to a Beatles song, so I know that it isn't going to happen. I may be wrong, though. People are pretty weird sometimes. Instead, Dad works at Food, like capital letters, Food. Food is the local grocery store, and it's closing. So, we had a local grocery store that was closing in my town, and it was a big deal because we had just gotten a grocery store for the first time in years, and it was open for a couple years, and then they had to close it. They were closing down the whole chain, and people were mad about it, so I was upset about it, because I was worried about people, and this whole nonsense. Ugh. So, I got upset about dumb things when I was younger. So, Food is the local grocery store, and it's closing. Mom says maybe Dad is the paperback writer type. Mom also keeps saying we're moving, but fortunately for me, we haven't moved yet. Mom says that we don't care too much for money, because money can't buy us love. I tell my parents to stop making Beatles jokes. But do they listen? No. And my ex-best friend Leanne doesn't listen either. So, enough about the Beatles. Now I have to explain Leanne. Leanne's name is spelled the weird way. She could spell it Leighanne, Leighann, or Leeanne, but instead it is one word, 6 basic letters, with each half of the word ending in a double letter, Leeann. But her name is much, much better than mine. She goes to my school, but she is a grade ahead of me in most things. Nobody knew what to do with me in school. I'm super advanced in reading and math. Haha, not relatable. I hate math. I'm in 9th grade in most subjects, but I'm in 5th grade and everything else, and I'm 12. Most normal 5th graders are 10 or 11. I must be pretty weird. I think I should be homeschooled, but when Mom is learning skydiving and Dad is working at Food, that's not possible. So, this says, this is not me. This is a drawing of me just so you get the general idea and to make the white book more colorful. So these were very bad drawings, by the way. Okay. Mom can drive when she's not skydiving, and Dad can drive, but he prefers to ride around on his motorcycle, so most of the time, I don't have anybody to take me places. So I usually walk around Springside, Calandra by myself. We live on the city line and the county line, so we do stuff in both towns. Springside is really run down, and Calandra is one of those perfect-looking coffee shop-lined towns, but both are home because my dad was crazy when he built our house where it is now. I have lived here all my life. Back to Leanne. She liked me, she doesn't like me. She used to not care about my name, and now she does. She says that she knows people who have best friends named Emily, so goodbye, Leanne! But then, I decided that I wanted to continue being her best friend, but she decided not to. I guess with a best friend named Penny Lane, she was scared of losing her popularity. So I guess I blame my dad and the Beatles, and my luck, I guess. Okay, so again, this writing and, like, sentence structure, this is supposed to be Leanne. This writing and sentence structure is definitely a step up from the last, and I'm not saying this is good or anything, but it's definitely better. Alright, so this is supposed to be their house. Our house is neon. I'm not the best artist on the planet. Springside, Calandra, Blessings County, and Mayflower County. 2. I am not the walrus. Why did I have to be named Penny? I complained to my dad for the billionth time at the breakfast table. We're all streets, replied Dad. But why do I have to be a famous street? Well, said Dad, just be glad you're not Abbey Road. I drank my homemade instant breakfast from the space age. Weirdly enough, I like space age food. 60s stuff my dad grew up on, instant food. And ran out of the house to go to school yet again. That day, I was giving Leanne the silent treatment, but she caught me at lunch and said that she was going to be in the spring play. I sighed and asked, "What's the play?" Also, this is a step up because it's first person, which makes it feel more personal. The other thing I will say here is that I also switch tenses a lot, and I'm not sure why I switch between past and present. Now I stick exclusively present, even when I'm doing flashbacks, so to make it feel more immersive. Yeah. Said she's going to be in the spring play. I sighed and asked, "What's the play?" It's a student original about animals. I'm the walrus. But they can't make me be the walrus. I'm not going to be the walrus. Calm down. Please tell me that you don't have to sing the song. No, I don't, but I still have to be in this stupid walrus costume, and I'll look, well, stupid! I'll just die! Then she brightened up. Maybe you could be in the play. That way I wouldn't feel so stupid. Okay, maybe. I met her just so long as I don't have to be the Eggman, I thought. I have 2 lines. And I'll just look, well, stupid! Leanne looked at her feet. I guess I'll just lose my popularity, she mumbled. Okay, fine. I'll be in the stupid play. See you at rehearsal, I said, jumping up from the lunch table. Now I was stuck being in the school play, and it was all Leanne's fault. The next day, coming home from rehearsal, where I tried out as a leapfrog, I saw my mother sitting on the living room couch awaiting my appearance. Mom, why aren't you skydiving? I asked when I saw her. Well, honey, said Mom, it doesn't look like I'll be skydiving anymore. I'm having another baby, I groaned. Another singer girl? I don't know, honey. The baby is due in August. I walked into the auditorium for tryouts again. I was finally cast as a lion wearing sunglasses. As I slipped out of the auditorium, Jake Short, who was tall, grabbed me by the shoulders and whispered, You would make a good street sign. That's right, I would, I whispered back, and I am not the walrus. So here I don't know what a walrus looks like, because I didn't. And this is what all my sisters looked like. Number 3. My so far experience with the Beatles. It's almost Christmas, and strangely enough, I don't really look forward to Christmas anymore, because 2 years ago, my dad got me the Beatles album Magical Mystery Tour, the album which Penny Lane and I'm the Walrus appear on. I stuffed the CD into my sock drawer along with my birth penny. Both the CD and the penny dated from 1967, and I tried to forget about it. The next year, Dad got me a CD player so I could listen to Penny Lane in the privacy of my own room. Couldn't I just download it off iTunes? Not that I wanted to hear the song anyway, but a CD player? Seriously? CD players are old technology now, which is funny because I still used CDs at the time. I don't anymore. So the CD player went into my closet, and the CD stayed in the drawer until 2 months ago, when I took it out and played Penny Lane on earphones. My door was double locked, and I was not knocked over with amazement by the song. I don't like music much except for classical music, which nobody is named after. The only music on my iPod besides classical is 2 Suburban hits, Love Song and Brave. Which is funny because I don't like classical music, so I don't know why I had very limited music taste at the time. Okay, so now I can say I've heard this song, but Dad doesn't have to know. So this year my Christmas list is seriously item 1, no Beatles-related items. Well, I didn't write that down, but Dad knows. And now it's Christmas morning, and Dad's present is stripy socks, 12 pairs, and a t-shirt printed with yellow polka dots. Dad can do better than that. So I wrote no image available for hours, and then here I wrote the stripy socks. Number 4. What I hope about the baby. My birthday is August 21st. The baby is due August 19th, so I want the baby on my birthday. Also surrounded by sisters, I want this baby to be a boy. Then we can name him Jude, and he can share my misery. Of course, my parents will probably name him after some male singer. But if the baby is a girl, then I will just have to live with it. I also hope that the baby will like me. Sometimes I feel like Sarah and Franny don't really like me. Well, they are so much younger. Sarah is half of my age right now. So, I really wish I will have a baby brother named Jude who likes me, born on my birthday. How many people wish for that? Seriously. Jude could look like this. What happened at the arcade that... 5. What happened at the arcade that changed my life? After another play rehearsal where I was the lioness with sunglasses, I had 5 lines. The lead roles were Mr. Llama, King Bullfrog, and Lady Butterfly. I went to the video arcade in downtown Calandra. Mom didn't need to know where I was because I didn't usually come straight home after school when Mom wasn't home back in her skydiving days because I wasn't supposed to have a house key because I wasn't allowed to have a house key even though I needed one. That was me at the time. I was like, give me a house key. And they're like, no. I have a house key now in case you're wondering. I passed 6 coffee shops and 4 fitness studios on my way through Calandra until I reached the arcade, which was simply called The Arcade. The Arcade had retro games as well as new ones, so I settled on an old-time classic, Pac-Man. I will say I was basing Calandra on a real... I was exaggerating a town. That's not too far from me, which is, like, really upscale, so I was, like, exaggerating that. What? I muttered... Oh, wait, sorry. I played a game in which I broke my personal record and reached 30,000 points. I was also really good at Pac-Man at the time. I had no life. Then Mrs. Rhodes, the owner of the arcade, saw me. You look like a good player, she said, looking at my score. I think I have something to tell you that might interest you. What? I muttered, actually interested. On June 1st, there is a Pac-Man tournament here at the arcade. You're good enough that you might be able to qualify if you practice a lot. I will examine your games and see if you can qualify. 16 people can qualify. I can sign you up now as someone who might be interested. What's your name? Penny, don't laugh. Penny L. No, that won't do. What's the matter? Asked Mrs. Rhodes. Can't you remember your name? Without answering, I ran out of the arcade, my heart pounding. I ran home, grabbed my birthday penny, and went back to the arcade. My last name is Lane, and my dad found this on the floor at the hospital when I was born, and I am not a street or a Beatles song. It seemed to take Mrs. Rhodes a minute to figure me out. Then she said, "Why didn't you tell me before?" "I didn't want you to laugh," I answered honestly. "My daughter's name is Abby. We practically got married because we were both Beatles fans, and the marriage lasted. But, Abby Rhodes. But my parents are not Beatles fans," I had to say. I thought that my dad probably was. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. You're signed up now, and you should meet my daughter. Mrs. Rhodes walked away, and I thought, Abby Rhodes.